I do have a story about the night that my brother tried to kill me. And I thought that that would be an appropriate story to tell you guys. And I call it the bunk bed incident. And there are a couple of things that I should probably tell you guys before I get started on this. The first is that my brother and I are very close in age. We're about 14 months apart, him being younger. And so our childhood was very violent in that we worked a lot of things out through force. And it worked out for me until he got bigger. And then I just stopped fighting back and I hid. So then the other thing that I should tell you about is that I have told and retold this story often because it's one of my favorites. It's the story that I think kind of proves that my mother loves my brother more, which if I know it's true and it's sad. And I think as we get to know each other tonight, you'll realize that my mother obviously has some flaws, but we love her anyway. But I have told and retold this story, and there are people that were there the night of the bunk bed incident, which we have to, when I talk about, times that my brother's tried to kill me or I've tried to kill my brother, there are so many that we name them. People have suggested that perhaps my recollection or my retelling the details are not correct. I think that we can all agree right now as a 6-year-old, retelling the hazy memories of a 6-year-old in a traumatic experience, retelling the story 20 years later. Come on, guys. You can hear my version, and then you can make your own decision. Okay. So it was the night before first grade started for me, which means the night before kindergarten. Thank you. Kindergarten. I was a little nervous about this. I've had a beer and a half. Okay. So that's my share. Tom. So you're welcome. No, I'm sorry. Back to being 6 years old. So it's the night before first grade started. And I don't know what it was like in your house in the summertime, but for my family, it was like 3 months of forgetting what a bedtime was, right? And so you stayed up until ungodly hours, like 9 p.m. And then the night before school starts, your parents are like, 7:30, bedtime. And so my brother and I were like, oh, okay, we'll lay here or whatever. And we had this bunk bed. I'm going to quote that. I'm going to do 90s air quotes. Bunk bed. Because I don't know how many of you guys spent a lot of time laying on the bottom bunk of a bed, but when you're the unloved child, that's where you end up. And then when you look up, what happens is usually there are like slats or bars that keep the bunk, right? It's a safety thing. So I don't know where my parents got this bunk bed. I assume on the side of the road, because it had to have been recalled by multiple government safety oversight committees, because instead of slats or anything that kept it in place, it was just a lip that, like, no, it's not a joke. I'm not kidding. I would never lie. These are not the details that are, oh, well, my mom likes to say it's a bunkie. I don't know what that means, but whatever. So, like, there was a lip, and the mattress settled in that lip, which is, the height of what you want your 6-year-old to be under. So it's 7:30 at night. It's still light out. My mom's like, go to bed, right? Because she wants to open the wine and eat the ice cream she claims we don't have. And I know so much more now that my friends are parents. By the way, my mom was a liar. Okay. So I'm giving Dan a fun ride, which sounds dirty, but we were young. And it includes me using my legs to kind of, bounce him and bounce my brother, bounce the mattress, bounce my brother. And Dan was like, Julie, don't do that. I don't like it. Stop it. It's not fun. He was pretty whiny because he was 4. So I was like, whatever, Dan, I'm 6. I'll do what I want. Because I was going into first grade. He was going into kindergarten. Let's be honest. Who's the big sister? So my brother is extremely smart and some would say arrogant, but that's a word that you can choose to use or not. But so I was continuing to give him a fun ride for him, for his entertainment. And he uses reverse psychology on me. And he says, oh, Julie, this is so much fun. Please keep doing it. And I was like, so I stop. And the bunk bed, the mattress, my brother, all come down with my legs. And Dan, that's contextually my brother, right? So Dan starts screaming bloody murder, like, I don't even know. I don't remember because I was under everything, right? So I couldn't hear. My ears were covered. But he starts screaming. My mom blade hands it in. She's like, oh my God, my baby that has come forth from my loins. And like scoops him up and cuddles with him to comfort this child, and I remember this, sits down. My baby, right? During all of this, I was pretty sure I was going to get in trouble for doing the fun rides because it was after 7:30, right? We were supposed to be asleep. So I somehow extracted myself from under the mattress, my mom, my brother, and whatever else. Went to the bathroom, and I was like spewing blood from my nose. I'm not going to reenact that part other than this. And then I think 20 minutes later or something like that, my mom goes, oh, I think I have another child. Yes, I think I should check on the welfare of that child that used to be, oh yeah, right here, or something. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was in the bathroom, remember, cleaning my face up. So my mom comes in and was like, oh, this is not a good scene. I don't like this. So she calls my father, who was actually a police officer working the night shift, and she's like, John, I don't know, something's wrong with Julie's face. And my dad was like, well, she was born that way. I don't know what to tell you. I look a lot like my dad, by the by. And my mom's like, no, it's more. She's like, stuff leaking. I don't understand. So he was like, well, you can call an ambulance or you can take her to the urgent care. And so we went to the urgent care. Side note, super excited to get in the car with my nightgown on. Like, that was like a super exciting moment. Turns out I had a broken nose and then developed 2 very severe black eyes. And there's nothing you can do with a broken nose. So they gave me 2 Band-Aids that were like an X shape over my nose. They were Snoopy. Yeah. 3 years later, I broke my arm. Got a Snoopy sling, FYI. That can be another night. Not my brother's fault. So anyways, I think the worst part of this, other than my brother trying to kill me, was that the next day I still had to go to school, first of all. I mean, come on. You should be able to call in sick on that one. But I wasn't allowed to play recess. I had to sit on the wall with the bad kids. I know. It was an almost death and a social death. Thanks, Dan.